In this Madden tips and plays video breakdown, we show a blitz setup that brings quick A-gap pressure in 2 seconds with only a 4-man pass rush from the nickel 2-4 mug mid blitz 0. The name of the defense that we use for this video breakdown is the nickel 2-4 double mug mid blitz 0. This particular defense is a cover 0 defense, and here is a list of the playbooks that you'll find this particular play out of. For this video breakdown, we're going to use the Bills playbook. As far as substitutions are concerned with the Buffalo Bills for this particular blitz setup, we're going to move free safety Cam Lewis, who has a 90 speed rating. We're going to place him at the left inside linebacker position, which is right there. And then we're going to put in Matt Milano. He's a linebacker. Now, he's probably the best Bills linebacker they've got. And we're going to move him into the right inside linebacker just to make sure we have somebody who can actually defend against the run. So those are the two substitutions that we're going to make with this particular setup. Keep in mind, whatever team you're using, I would suggest making sure that you have a fast defender lined up here, rather be a fast linebacker or a fast safety. As far as the coaching adjustments are concerned, the only one that we're going to make is auto flip defensive play call off. We're going to turn that off. Now, there are some other things that you might want to do and consider as you watch this video. And one of them, I mentioned it later in the video breakdown. I'm going to be mentioning this right here, which is the curl flats. You may want to use this because we are going to hot route one of the defenders into a curl flat and drop him 25, 30 yards. That's something you might want to do there. If you want to run base alignment, that's up to you. You can do that as well. And the rest of the settings, do what you want there as far as the hook zones. We are going to put a defender in a hook zone as well, or even the flats. So just kind of, depending on what you decide on doing, it'll give you some flexibility as far as the coaching adjustments are concerned with this particular blitz setup. To set up the nickel 2-4 double mug mid blitz 0, all you need to do here is call press man coverage. Now, that's the first thing I like to do. You do not have to do that. That is optional. If you prefer not to have press coverage, don't worry about it. You don't have to do that. The next thing I want to do here is I'm going to take control of this guy right here, which is going to be the the right inside linebacker. And then what I need to do is I need to bring him over, maybe just a little bit over to the right as you look at your screen. Now, if you go too far over, he's going to reset, but you want to get him as close to the center as you can without him resetting. The next thing you want to do is take control of this guy. Now, remember, this is the free safety that I subbed in for the left inside linebacker position. And I'm going to go ahead and move him over here so he lines up pretty tight to the right inside linebacker and also where he lines up across from the center. The next thing I want to do is call QB contain. That is optional. You do not have to do that. That's really up to you. I prefer to do it. You do not have to do it. Only because I don't want the quarterback to try to roll out, and that's the idea of that. If you're playing against a quarterback that's not has any type of speed, then you probably don't need to worry about doing QB contain. And that's the setup right there as you look at your screen. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hold down the right trigger before the ball is snapped. And then once the ball is snapped, I'm going to rush him in between, or I'm going to loop around the right inside linebacker as he engages the center, and it's going to create a gap between the center and the left guard where I can go through and apply the pressure on the quarterback. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll go into the X and O's of the play, and I'll show you a little bit more and some other things you can do as far as adjustments go as far as with this particular play. So let's go ahead and run it and take a look at it. So again, I'm going to hold down that right trigger before the snap, and then I'm just going to come up that gap right there and get to the quarterback pretty quick. Now, a lot of times, if you do this right, you can get in really, really quick with this. And under 2 seconds there, I might have got just over 2 seconds. Let's run it one more time here, and then I'll just go through it real quick. So again, you're going to call press man coverage. You're going to take control of the right inside linebacker, move him over slightly towards the right, take control of the free safety, or in this case, it'd be the right inside linebacker, move him over as close as you can to that linebacker right there as you look at your screen. The next thing you're going to do is you're just going to basically hold down the right trigger. As soon as that ball is snapped, you're just going to come right up this gap and apply the pressure on the quarterback, such as you see on your screen. All right, what I want to do here is I want to go into the X and O's of the play so I can kind of walk you through it. And then once I get done with that, I'm going to show you a couple adjustments you might want to do depending on what your opponent comes out on the offensive side of things as far as the formation they might run. From the top down view here in the X and O's play breakdown here, what I can show you here is how this works as far as this blitz. And let's start off right here with this guy right here. Now, this is the right inside linebacker. I talked about sliding him inside just a half a notch so he lines up a little closer to the center. The reason for that is I need him to attack the center and get the center to block him. That's the reason I'm doing that. That's one of the reasons anyways. The other reason is that this guy out here, now remember, he's in QB contain right now. So I've got him in QB contain, which is fine because I might be wanting to take away a quarterback trying to scramble out towards the right side. That's one of the reasons I put him in QB contain, to try to prevent that. But if you decide not to put him in QB contain or do QB contain, you'd rather have him rush the quarterback, that's fine, because on occasion he may not even get blocked. The reason for that is by moving that linebacker a little bit closer to the inside towards the center, is that this offensive lineman, this right tackle, may look to block to the inside here, and he may look to block this defensive lineman right here as you look at your screen, this strong side defensive tackle. If that happens, then this linebacker right here, again, this is going to be the left outside linebacker, may apply, or could be even defensive end, depending on what you decide to do there. He may end up getting pressure where he doesn't get blocked and go after the quarterback, okay, as far as with that. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about, let's go back here and focus in on this guy right here. Remember, this is the free safety that I subbed in for that linebacker. Now, I know, again, I've talked about this before. A lot of you guys like to put safeties in here. If you got a fast linebacker, there's really no need to do this. If you got to say a 92 speed linebacker, and there's some out there, even a 90 speed linebacker, you might as well leave that linebacker in there if you feel more comfortable with him. But in this case, because the safety is faster, what I'm going to do here is I am going to loop around. So what I'm looking for here is for this linebacker right here, the one I moved over, to engage the center. And then I'm going to manually loop this guy around him. And then I'm going to shoot through this A gap between the center and the left guard and apply the pressure on the quarterback, such as what you just saw me do here as far as with this breakdown. So that's really it in a nutshell as far as with this, as far as applying that pressure on the quarterback. Don't forget, if you go QB contain, not only do you have the outside linebacker, the left outside linebacker in QB contain, you're also going to have this one here as well. So this is going to try to prevent these quarterbacks from rolling out. That's the only reason I'm doing that, is because I want to try to prevent the quarterback from rolling out. That's really up to you if you want to go that direction. If you don't go that direction and you decide just to have them blitz like normal, that's fine too, because again, you might get some edge heat coming off from the left outside linebacker. Now, one other thing I want to point out here, I'm going to talk about here in the next sequence or next clip here that I show here, is that this guy right here, he's in man coverage on this running back right here as you look at it. And that's an issue right there, because if this running back, say he was running a swing route or a wheel route, obviously he's going to be open. He may not get over there fast enough. So we're going to have to make an adjustment. So let's go back in here and get back on the field, and I'll show you what you might want to do. It's going to slow the blitz setup down a little bit, but you're probably going to have to do this if you don't want to have the running back get wide open. I'm going to talk about a few advanced tips that you can do when setting up the nickel 2-4 double mug mid blitz zero. The first tip really isn't advanced, I wouldn't say, but something you might want to consider, and you might have to address it, is it's going to be this free safety. Now, he's in man coverage on this running back, and as you can see, he's kind of far away. So if your opponent was running, say, a wheel route or a flat route or something out here towards the right, that's going to be an issue, obviously. So one of the things you might have to do is you may have to bring this guy in the box a little bit closer into this area here as you look at your screen. You may have to bring him up closer, and we're going to do that here live here in just a second, but just keep that in mind. That might be something you need to do, is bring him up a little bit closer. Something else you can do that's really cool about this particular blitz setup is you can actually hot route a couple defenders in the zone coverage, or if you want to, you can put one in man coverage. For example, let's talk about this here. Let's talk about this defender right here as you look at your screen here. That's going to be that outside linebacker. In this case, it's going to be the left outside linebacker. You'll notice right now he is blitzing off the edge. Now, as I pointed out earlier, he may get in on occasion. Not all the time, but on occasion he may get a free release. towards the quarterback, giving you basically two blitzers coming after the quarterback. Now that doesn't always happen, and if that doesn't suit you, then you have the option to put them into a zone coverage, such as the curl flat. You can go in your coaching adjustments and you can drop them back, say 25, 30 yards if you want, to take away those curl routes, or not curl routes, but take away those corner routes out there on the outside. Or you could go ahead and man up the running back with him if you have time, and then that would take away that safety there having to be brought down in the box, which save you a little bit of time with the setup. That's one other thing you can do. Something else you could do here is, if you want, you could take control of this strong side defensive tackle, and say you wanted to put him perhaps maybe in a hook zone. Maybe you want to drop him back into that area there. Maybe you want to hot route him into a flat. You could do that as well. It's not going to affect the blitz. Whatever you want to do, you can do right there. You might want to put a faster defensive lineman, if you have one there, to allow them to get out in the coverages a little bit quicker. So what I want to do now is I'm going to go in here and actually do the final setup here with what I just showed you guys, and show you that the blitz still works. The first thing I want to do is go back and talk about the free safety again. What you can do here is, with this setup, you could go ahead and call press man coverage. While you're doing that, you want to take control of him and bring him down in the box so he lines up somewhere near the running back. And while you're on top of that, you might want to call show blitz, and it's going to bring that strong safety down near the line of scrimmage, so he's a little bit closer to that receiver, the slot receiver there to the right, as you look at your screen right there. So there's the setup right there. Let's go ahead and run this as is, and I'll take control of this guy right here. I'll slide him over just like I've been doing, and then I'll move this guy over. So there's the setup right there. Now, what I'm hoping for, maybe I'll get some edge rush, pressure coming off the edge there from that linebacker. So, for example, as you look at it, hopefully this linebacker right here will get the pressure on the quarterback. Again, I can't guarantee it, but on occasion, he may get in there and apply the pressure on the quarterback. So what I want to do is I want to go back in here and run this and show you there, and then I'm going to go into those other adjustments I was just talking about as far as putting defenders into zone coverage. So let's go ahead and run this. And again, keep in mind, I'm trying to use two controllers. It's a little bit easier, I think, if you were just using one, and you would be able to run through this. You could do this a little bit even easier than what I'm trying to show here. So let's go run through this, and then right there, I'm going to come and apply the pressure on the quarterback. Now, I didn't get that guy in as fast as I was hoping as far as the outside linebacker. He never did apply the pressure on the quarterback, but on occasion, like I said, that's something that might happen. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and make those hot route adjustments with the zone coverage that I showed earlier, and show you what you might want to do here. So let's go ahead and go through this, and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to call press coverage this time. I'm going to go ahead and put this guy into let's put him into a left curl hook, such as you see on your screen. You might not want to do that. Maybe you want to go the other direction. Let's go to the hook curl right. That way he's on this right hand side of the screen as you look at it. And then I'm going to switch off to this guy right here. Now, I don't have my coaching adjustment set to 30 or 25 or anything like that, as I pointed out earlier. You could do that. So let's go ahead and put him into a curl flat, such as you see on your screen right there. And then here, we'll just slide this guy over a little bit, and then this guy over here. Now, I realize that's a lot to do for some of you, and you may not be able to set this up fast enough. If you guys are really fast on the sticks, that might be something you consider doing. So at this point, we got this set up, right? So we can go ahead and go something like this if we wanted to. Do QB contain over there towards the left. If we had time, that's another option you could do. And then the rest of the setup is done. So let's go ahead and run this, and you can see right here, I still get the pressure on the quarterback, which is really nice. So that's what I wanted to point out to you with this. You could go with that setup and apply the pressure on the quarterback. Now, let's go back one last thing. I mentioned this guy right here. Let's go ahead and put him into a hook curl. And then this guy here, if you wanted to, you can man up the running back as well with him. That's going to save you not having to bring that safety, down near the line of scrimmage. You can go ahead and call show blitz if you so choose, and then move this guy over and do the same setup. So there you go right there. There's your setup. And then we can go ahead and go after the quarterback and apply the pressure on him, just such as what I showed there. If we go into the X and O's, which we're going to go into, I'm going to show you a little bit more of it, and we'll talk about it one more time here in the X and O's. Let's go into the X and O's and take a look at this. All right, back to the top-down view here in instant replay, and you can kind of see, as I'm going to show this with the X and O's of the play, is that I've got, in man coverage, I've got two defenders here. I've got this guy right here and this guy right here that are in man coverage on the running back. Now, I realize you may not want to do this, and as I talked about earlier, the only reason I'm doing this is to save myself a little bit of time as far as with the setup. Now, again, if you guys are fast, you wouldn't have to do that, because you can take control of that safety and move him down. With that said, The other option would be to put him into a curl flat. Remember, you can drop him back 25, 30 yards if you so choose to do that. That's really up to you. I just want to point that out to you. And then the other guy, the one that I just mentioned here, was this defender right here. This is this our strong side defensive tackle. I mean, I put him in into that curl right here. You could put him into a flat if you wanted to. It's really up to you. Whatever you decide on doing there. Put him in QB spy. It doesn't matter. It's not going to affect the blitz. So you can see right there. Don't forget, I also did show blitz there as well. So that's it on there as far as that is concerned. And then, of course, the rest of the setup here, I talked about this. I put this guy and slide him over to the right just a little bit. And then I went ahead and took control of this guy. And then what I'm looking to do is you look at it. I'm looking to go through this A gap here and apply the pressure on the quarterback and come up through this gut here and get the pressure. Now, as you watch this, as I kind of go through it here, you can see right there, I'm coming up through the A gap. And as you look at it, I've got some nice coverages out there. I've got this guy dropping back into the hook zone. I've got him going back in the hook zone. I've got man coverage locked on these guys here, man coverage here, man coverage here, man coverage here. And then as you look at your screen, we still got you got two guys in man coverage on the running back. I'm not a real big fan of that, but if I want to take away that running back, I got to do something there to take that away. So that's an option right there. And honestly, to be honest with you, if you hot routed, I'm just thinking as I go through this, if we hot routed this guy into the flat, and then we hot routed this guy into the curl flat, then if this guy was running a wheel route, then we would have that fairly covered, I would think. So that's something you could do. Plus you got that running back, you got that safety coming across to put him in man coverage. And by the time he got going out, as you look, let's look at this. By the time he got going up on that wheel route, I'm already in there anyway. So it doesn't really matter as far as with that. But I just want to point that out to you, trying to cover everything with this particular setup that I'm showing. The last thing I'm going to do here in a sec is I'm going to hot route the running back and have him stay in the pass block. And I just want to show you what happens. All right, this time I'm going to go ahead and hot route the running back to stay in the pass block, and then I'm going to do the setup the rest of the way, the same way I've been doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and call press man coverage, show blitz, slide this guy over just a little bit to the right as you look at your screen, and this guy over towards the left. Now, the one thing I want to talk about here before I run this is on occasion, just on occasion, not all the time, every once in a great moon, you may end up still getting pressure on the quarterback with this. And what will happen is on occasion is this guy right here, as you look at your screen, may apply pressure on the quarterback. Now, that ain't always going to be the case, but on occasion he may get in there and apply the pressure on the quarterback. So what I want to do here at this point is I'm going to go ahead and run this and see if that's what happens. Now, like I said, it doesn't always, but I just wanted to point that out to you. So let's go ahead and run through here, and right there I got blocked by the running back, no chance to get in, and the blitz didn't work. Now that's with the running back staying in the pass block. Now the cool thing is, if we were to run this, what I showed earlier, and say that we put this guy, let's go ahead and put him into a curl hook, and then this guy here, let's just drop him back into let's go ahead and put him on man coverage on the running back right there, right? So there it is on the setup, and let's go ahead and run this just in case, say that running back stayed in or went out on a pass route, right? Let's go ahead and do that right now. So he'll be in the stay in the pass block right here as you look at your screen. So the same thing right here. But let's watch what happens when I do this. There, you saw that guy reset because I went too far over. But at any rate, let's run this and see what happens this time. See right there? We still got blocked and all that. It didn't really matter. Remember, I'm trying to do two controllers, so it didn't really do anything for us outside the running back staying in the pass block. But what if we did something like this? Let's go ahead and leave him in to stay in the pass block again. And I'm just trying to show you all the scenarios here, so just keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and put this guy back into the curl. This time, let's put him into a curl flat, all right? And that's going to be with the running back staying in the pass block, as you see on your screen. And then we're going to move this guy over like I've been doing and try to blitz him in as far as this guy goes. Well, as you watch this, even though I don't get in, right, I can drop him back, and now I only got a three-man pass rush as you look at your screen. But what's more important in that is if I go back into instant replay here, go back into the X and O's of the play, look at all this. Look at all this I've got going on here. I've only got a three-man pass rush, right? I got three guys going in here after the quarterback as you look at it, because I saw that running back stay in the pass block. I knew I'm not going to get pressure. So what's the point of that as you look at it? Well, the cool thing is, as you look at it here, we still got pretty good coverage. I realized one thing happened out here on the, as you look out here towards your outside here, as we look at it, the downside of this, obviously, is this guy right here is open, but that's not going to always be the case here. I'm sorry about that with the telestrator, but this guy's not always going to be open, but he's open right there. But you can see right there, for the most part, we've got a pretty nice coverage out there. So you end up having 7 defenders, you know, dropping back versus only 4 receivers going out, which is nice. So we're taking away the running back. He's not going out. We've got 7 defenders. Hopefully we can defend this. I would think we could, right? And that's what I'm looking at here when I did this. So with that said, guys, I can't say this is the best blitz of all time. I'm not going to go out here and say this is the coverage of all time and the best blitz and all that. I'm not going to tell you guys that. What I am going to tell you, this is another defense that you guys can run that can bring some pressure on the quarterback up the A gap, which is nice. And yet with 7 defenders dropping back, such as what I just showed here, assuming that the running back stays in the pass block. If the running back doesn't stay in the pass block, by all means, go after the quarterback. I mean, that's a free shot, right? You already got the setup, you can get to it. But I just want to point that out to you. This is a nice defense that you can add to your tools that's going to bring you some pressure on the quarterback. And if you scheme it in with some of the other plays from the nickel 2-4 double mug, you can make a nice little scheme out of this. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video breakdown. Again, I know it's a long one, but as you guys know, I get real winded sometimes when I start doing these video breakdowns. I start getting into the X and O's of it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video breakdown. If you guys did, please comment, subscribe, you know, just keep watching these video breakdowns. I appreciate it when I hear from you guys. So at any rate, guys, take care, and I'll talk to you guys later.